You are sleeping on Combat Medic. You don't believe me? Well, let me break it down for you. Combat Medic is going to be meta for 4 main reasons. Number 1, it is able to revive towers. Refractor is worth hundreds of thousands. Need I say less? Number 2, Combat Medic will have a drone, which means utility from a distance. Ghost has a C7 drone, and I bet you've used it before to pick off spawners or clean up leaks. Pretty handy, right? Number 3, it's cheap and scales well in all modes. I'll explain more on this later. Number 4, Combat Medic scales with your loadout even if it's your most powerful tower. It will always support your weaker units. This is especially important if it has a placement limit. So how do I know these will make Combat Medic meta? Well, John didn't want to disappoint with the takeover event and revealed Combat Medic could revive and tell me. Just by looking at Combat Medic, you can tell the tower is a high cost efficient unit with average damage and stats. Still don't believe me? Take Ghost as a prime example. The shape language and silhouette are almost identical. Combat Medic is quite literally a healing version of Ghost if you think about it. The only difference? Utility, purpose, and lack of stealth. And speaking of technology, equipment utility and quality also plays a massive role in how expensive the tower is in-game. Depending on the capabilities of Combat Medic's drones, depends on how expensive the later levels will end up costing you. That is, if the drone isn't granted on placement though. Either way, the tower will absolutely scale massively into late game from the early game. So what's so special about Combat Medic that makes it meta outside of the scaling? Combat Medic can be linked and compared to a multitude of towers such as Medic, Ghost, Mobster, and even the Shield Tower. Starting with the Ghost, you already know they're similar, but if Ghost has hidden detection, this means Combat Medic is likely to follow suit as both are equipped with face gear. The drones are also very alike. The C7 drone from Ghost's equipment isn't controlled by a human, so it's likely to also be equipped with hidden detection, though it might not need hidden detection if the purpose isn't focused on damaging, but rather healing? Another tower that is similar to Combat Medic is actually the Mobster. And let me explain. Mobster is able to receive cash back on tower death. This is verbatim of Combat Medic's ability, aside from the fact that Combat Medic revives an entire tower, or even multiple. That's not some mere 35% cash back, that's 100%. That's more money saved long term as if the Mobster wasn't already great enough at its job. Okay, now this is where things turn really sour. Combat Medic seems pretty solid so far, right? But I'm about to pull the tower down just as much as I've pushed it up. First, Mobster is able to gain money through other means, making more than an entire tower's value in a single enemy kill. This goes for Refractor as well. Next up, the Ghost. If the Ghost is squishy, guess who else is guaranteed to be squishy? That's right, Combat Medic. To add icing onto the cake, the Shield Tower makes Combat Medic completely obsolete. There's no reason to have a Medic or Combat Medic if your Shield Tower has great anti-damaging capabilities. Maybe I'm being too harsh though. We all know that some bosses deal % damage and will nuke a single or small group of towers with one shot. This is where Combat Medic sees true value and potential, as the healing capabilities may not be amazing, but the anti-death is sure to save hundreds if not thousands every match. Especially when Alpha Predator nukes the entire map with his glistening bulbous abs. That was so gay. Not only that, worst news is, Combat Medic isn't supposed to replace Medic. Why make Medic obsolete, right? The healing capabilities are most likely to be extremely mediocre, though thoughts are, the drone or unit might deal a light AoE heal to counter fire and AoE damage. Now that being said, these are just speculations. Let's clear up the air and look at things from a distance where evidence is concrete and unbiased. From what we know, Combat Medic is a frontline support that has balance of DPS, healing capabilities, and is cost efficient. It might even be cheaper than Ghost, knowing the Combat Medic only wields a pistol. The Combat Medic is packaged with 4 other Nightmare Towers too, so it's most likely cheaper or the cheapest tower is natural with supports. That's just natural hierarchy. Before we hate on Combat Medic completely though, we need to give it a chance, as the points that really matter are: is there going to be a cooldown to the revive mechanic? What does the drone exactly do? Because that definitely isn't a C7 gun mounted below it. Is the revive and drone an ability? How bad or good is Combat Medic's range? Will the drone and revive be on both paths? What are the placement limits? These are all questions that need to be answered in order to fully accurately evaluate such a tower. From how I designed the tower, I'd assume that there'd be a small bubble or area around the Combat Medic that would grant a revive on death, so long as it's not a mechanical tower. Think about something similar to John Rage's ability range. Maybe you have to micro an ability within the short time the towers die to apply a revive, which would be a positive for TDX as a game, knowing they want players to stick in the game longer. This means less opportunity for you to abuse 1.5 times speed. With this in mind, only the stats and time can truly tell us how much potential Combat Medic holds, but that potential is what makes the unit by far the biggest sleeper in Nightmare. It's pretty easy to be a sleeper tower when all the other towers are cool as fuck. We make it look easy. If you enjoyed my content and you want to help me out, interact the video and take a look at the video on screen now. YouTube says you'll love it.